Hey folks. All right, we got a handy tool here. When it's time to talk Jesus with kids, to have a spiritual conversation with a child, you are in the really, I think, the cool role of not being right the chapel speaker, not being the class teacher. You get the opportunity that means to come alongside kids. Okay, and I think this is a beautiful place to be. I love this kind of conversation with kids. And so I want to share a tool with you. Okay, Lacey Finn Borgo wrote this book called Spiritual Conversations with Children that talks about how do we do that? How do we come alongside kids as they're kind of figuring out how to listen to the Holy Spirit, how to respond, how to process that. Okay, and so she offers this acronym BOW. She says, okay, B is for body. She says when you're gonna have a spiritual conversation with a child, do something with your body that it lets the child know that you are not the person, you don't have power over them in the conversation. Okay, this means she sits next to kids on the floor while they have conversations about Jesus, or she'll go for a walk side by side with them. Right? She does something with her body that removes her from the position of power, and by default then, right, that leaves room, that leaves space for the Holy Spirit to be the authority. Okay, and that leads us right into her O. Her O is for openness. Okay, and her belief is that if kids are learning to listen to the Holy Spirit, we as the adult have to be open to whatever direction the kid is taking the conversation, right? Because they're the ones trying to process what they're hearing. They're the ones trying to respond to the Spirit. And so we must relinquish control of the conversation, right? I know this feeling where you're like, oh, let me tell you the thing I know about the Holy Spirit that's really good and true. And when I do that, I take over. I take over the Holy Spirit, what they might be up to. I take over from the child, what they're trying to experience. Kids often need a little more space in the conversation, maybe a couple more questions than answers, and maybe just a posture that says, you are leading the conversation. I'm here to listen and respond to you. And by doing that, you're modeling, right, the listening posture that they have to the Holy Spirit. Okay, and this is also related to her last point, W, which is for wonder. Okay, we are not the authority on all things Jesus, right? We just aren't. There's so much about the Holy Spirit, about how God works, that we can wonder about with kids, right? Especially when things get tricky and hard. Man, the phrase like, I wonder about that too, just leaves room, right, for the Holy Spirit to do some of the answering. It is not a cop-out. It's not, right, you're not failing children, because the fact is that we serve a God who's real big and who has a lot of mystery going on. And so to wonder with kids, to engage kids' imagination, to let them have conversations where they get to say out loud, like, I wonder how that works. I wonder what God is like, is a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, so I would just encourage you, if a kid has like, I want to talk Jesus about you, I want to talk about Jesus with you, I have a question about this thing. Of course, there are some kind of questions that you can just answer, right? If they ask you, like, what's John 3:16? I'm not saying bow, right? But in moments where kids, you feel like, are trying to navigate a response to the Holy Spirit, get your body on their level, be open to whatever direction they want to take the conversation, and be okay with wondering with them. Kids are such good imaginers. They're so good at wondering. We want to encourage that and not shut it down. All right. Thanks, folks. This wraps us up. I think that was our last one. Thanks. You did a great job. I will see you at camp on Monday.